someone came and approached you and says, hey, I'm thinking about buying my first home, what's the number one piece of advice you would share amongst all the other things that we discuss in the home buying process? Or what's the number one piece of advice you would give them?
I would say start with education. Okay. So meet with, sit down with us, let us go through the process step by step so you can learn what's needed, and then I would definitely direct them in getting consultation from a lender so they can understand the financial piece.
So you're saying education is your piece of advice?
Mm-hmm. Okay. To start with that.
My advice is just to educate them that this is a process that they're in charge, so do their due diligence with picking their realtor. Don't feel like they have to go with the first realtor that they speak with. Mm-hmm. So choose wisely and compare.
I like that. Choose wisely. Okay.
Those are really, really good points, and I totally agree. Education is going to be the foundation of what they do from the minute they meet us to the minute they close. So sitting down with us and us giving them the advice that they need to have from day one to closing day, I think that's paramount.
Yeah. So my answer would be finances. Mm-hmm. Button up finances. Mm-hmm. I mean, be so tight in understanding how your lender works, what you're qualified for, mm-hmm. how much money is required. If someone were to approach me in the street and just says, hey, what's your number one piece of advice? I'd say, get your money right. Mm-hmm. What do you think is the number one thing buyers struggle with in today's market when thinking and or starting the process of buying a home? Number one struggle.
Not getting the right education, like we stated. Okay. Dealing with the first realtor that they meeting at the home, not knowing the process or being educated on the process, not having their finances in order, sure. and just, overwhelmed with everything. So I think that would be the main thing.
So it's being rushed. They're finding out the process in the middle instead of the beginning, and it just makes it more a stressful environment sure. instead of a smooth transition.
Yeah.
I think that your first answer was on the button. Mm-hmm. Knowing if they can afford a house. Mm-hmm. They've been paying rent probably for so many years, and they say, well, can I really afford a house? And they don't know how to investigate or get educated on whether they can afford a house with down payment assistance or whatever it is, whether they can afford a loan. So
interesting. Okay. I agree with everything you guys said. However, I think the number one struggle our community, when it comes to buying a home, is experiencing is the market not matching up with what their dreams are.
Very true.
The huge increases in home pricing and the reality when it hits them when they get into the shopping phase and see what the market's giving them in terms of what they anticipated. I think that's a struggle right now in today's market.
And helping them to adjust that reality is a big step for us.
Absolutely.
It's kind of tough.
What is the one thing you think most buyers aren't aware of in the home buying process or the industry as a whole? What do you think is the one thing that they just, if you were to share one thing with them to give them some insight into the process or what we deal with in the back end of helping them get a home, what would you share with them?
Understanding that Orlando in general is very competitive as opposed to other areas. Okay. So I think when they're looking on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, they're seeing a lot of properties that match what they're looking for, but the reality is half of them aren't available. And so understanding that you do need to be buttoned up so you're competitive in the situation. As a buyer, you need to make sure that everything's lined up and that you can stand out against other buyers instead of thinking that you'll have a week to think about the house that you like and decide to make an offer on it. Right now it doesn't really work with that.
Sure. Okay. What's the one thing you
I think just
give them insight into?
Prepping them not to be overwhelmed when we may be showing a home and there's 5-6 offers in that dream home. That don't get, discouraged. Don't give up. We have different type of strategies to win situations, and we won out of 7 offers, 6 offers, and just putting them in that mindset, like, don't give up. Because I do see, or sometimes when we go on that first showing, they may get discouraged when they don't see the homes are lining up with what they like. I've seen that a few weeks ago with my buyer. We seen 4 houses, and she was just, by the last house, she went from light to like, oh, this is it, this is, oh my God, and her lease is expiring, so I saw that distress in her, and I gave her that pep talk, like, it doesn't matter how long it'll take, we'll find the right home, and now she's in contract this week, and she's happy, so Yeah.
I think one of the misconceptions that I've seen at least 2 times the last month is how much do you cost as a realtor? How much do I have to pay you as a realtor? And they don't understand as a buyer's agent, you represent them, and you don't, as a buyer, don't pay commission to the realtor. That's taken care of from the seller side. I think that's a misconception of buyers when they go to the market for the first time.
It's a huge aha moment for them
Yeah,
when they realize that it's
really?
no
I don't
cost.
have to pay you anything? You know, you get represented by us for nothing.
I would go the Zillow and Trulia route. I think a big insight that if I could uncover sort of something for them is the reality that those websites, as fun as they are to shop on all day long for our buyers, they're advertising platforms. And their sole focus is to get hundreds of thousands of clicks on homes that might not even be available, as we know, just so that they can charge people like us money to put our face next to that house. And so that's one of the biggest things I would convey to someone, if I had one thing, to be careful and to be diligent when you're online shopping for a home, that not everything you see is a reality.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. We see it every day.
Awesome. I think this is great topics and good discussion points. I think this sort of roundtable talk can help people as we share this insight that we've collected over years with buyers out there as they start their home buying process, or if they're in the middle of it with someone that's not sort of adhering to their specific needs and goals and wants. They can kind of learn more by us putting this out there. So I hope it helped everyone.
Yes, guys.
Yeah.
Red table talk? No. Realtor table talk.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
All right,
And I
cool.
mean,
Awesome.